Is that the Macarena? Oh my God. Welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. A big local racing family, the Pricketts. Let's bring in David. David, how's it going, man?
Very good, Chuck. Thanks for having me today.
Nice to have you. Let's talk about this. How long has the Pricketts family been in racing?
Well, my grandfather Clyde started racing hard tops out at Kearney Bowl, Clovis Speedway, San Jose, local stuff.
Wait a minute. Let's slow down a little bit here, Tiger. Okay, so your grandfather,
yeah,
his name was?
Clyde Prickett.
Clyde Prickett.
Yeah.
And he started racing out at Kearney Bowl?
Yes.
In a hard top?
Yeah, in the early 50s.
In the early 50s and in San Jose?
San Jose, Clovis Speedway.
You never got to go to San Jose. You're too young.
No, San Jose was gone by the time I started racing.
I grew up going to it. I went for many years every Saturday night and saw just many great families out there. And so I'm really, that's why I'm super happy to have you here today.
Cool.
Now, so in the 50s, so that's your grandfather.
Yes.
But then your father.
Well, my dad, he tried his hand at karts when he was coming up in the 70s. He more found his niche into the mechanic side of things, so he went back to the Carolinas and hooked up with a NASCAR team and traveled on the NASCAR circuit as a mechanic in like 71, 72.
Please tell me he's your mechanic now.
He is my mechanic now,
okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how, in 2004, met up with Tim Caves, and he had a car and was looking for a driver, so I ended up taking the car home. My folks at the time had said, they weren't going to pay for me to go racing, so Timmy gave us a car, and I took it home, and my dad, went to wrenching on it.
So he gives you a car. So what kind of car does he give you?
It was a midget, so it's a four-cylinder inline motor.
An inline four-cylinder?
Inline four-cylinder. It's basically a small block Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Toyota.
Cut in half.
Cut in half, right down the center.
I think I know the guy in San Jose who first did that, and their last name was Dillard. And I believe that when that engine first came out, it was outlawed because it was just blowing everybody else away.
Well, there's a lot of different designs. Actually, Fred Gearhart designed one with a Pontiac head that he used the other side of the engine to be the oil tank. So half of it was the oil tank, the other four cylinders was actually the engine. That car is actually still here in Fresno out at Hoosier Tire West. I don't think that car ever ran, but it was a real neat design. Fred was actually way ahead of his time when it came to engineering. Midgets, Indy cars, there was one Indy 500 where I believe all 33 cars that started the race were a Fred Gearhart chassis.
Wow. So your friend gives you a car. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't happen all the time, but or does it in the racing world?
It's not a real common story, but it does happen. I'd been a mechanic for 5 years before that for Wally Pancratz, who's in the Hall of Fame. So with the experience that I had, he knew the family and whatnot, and was willing to take a chance on a 21-year-old kid. So I took.
But had you driven before? What like go-karts and stuff?
No, I never drove karts or anything. My mom was fully against racing, so she said no way, and my grades weren't good enough to talk Grandpa into ponying up to get started, so it was just a kid who'd been at the racetrack for a few years and a little
could
arrogant,
wrench pretty good,
had a pretty loud mouth, and I said, hey, I could do that, just give me a car and I'll show you guys what I got. So
that's what I'm saying. Hey, get me one. Let's get out there.
So that's how we got started, and Neverlift Motorsports was created. My mom, my dad, and myself put it all together. We started racing in 2005, and it took us a while to get rolling. We a lot of used equipment. We were a low budget team. We picked up our first championship in 2009 with the Bay Cities Racing Association. So, from 2004 to 2009, obviously, it took us a while to get rolling.
Not the same car, though, is it?
Not the same car. We went through 2 or 3 cars before, we got up to the quality of car that it would take to win a championship. And
what is a championship-type car? What does a car like that cost?
If you were to build,
because you're not running on y'all used stuff now, are you?
No. We buy a lot of new equipment. To start with a brand new car would cost you about $80,000. We never bought a new car. We bought some used engines for around $10,000 a piece, and we bought some used cars.
Are you still in the same?
Still in the same class? Yeah,
okay.
Midgets. One of the cars we bought was actually one of Tony Stewart's cars.
Nice, because he started in the midgets himself, right?
He was in midgets before, midget sprint car and Silver Crown before he went to Indy and NASCAR.
Now, is that something that you aspire to do too? Is go up
I did when I was younger, but at this point, in my 30s, I'm happy just racing for fun, and I don't need to be on TV on Sunday. And it'd be great if somebody wanted to say, hey, go for it. But I'm having fun doing what we're doing. We're racing local.
What size are the tracks local? Are they quarter mile? Half mile?
No, we got a half mile in Stockton. We got a half mile in Calistoga. We got a 3/8 mile in Madera, a third mile in Hanford, a 5th mile in Visalia.
What do you prefer?
You know, they're all doing the 5th mile at Visalia is really awesome when you got 400 horsepower and
you have 400 horsepower coming out of a 4-cylinder engine
and a 900-pound car.
Wow! So how fast is this car going?
At Calistoga, we get up to about 120, 130 miles an hour.
That's with the longer track?
Yeah, that's
the longer straightaway.
Right.
But would you say 1/5 of a mile?
5th mile
is that like a circle?
Yeah, we're doing probably only about 65, 70 miles an hour. But
constantly,
and the front tires are always in the air. You know, it's a ton of traction. You got 22 inches of tire on the back of the car, and like I said, the car weighs 900 pounds. So it's basically a bull in a china shop.
Yeah. Tell me what it was like the first time you got behind the wheel.
Well, you know, you have a lot of excitement and a lot of emotion, and you think you're going fast, and then you look at your times, and you're really slow.
But still pumped, right?
Oh yeah, you're excited. I mean, when you're out there by yourself, you have nothing to compare against. So my first day, I ran 100 laps in a Ford Focus powered midget out at Madera Speedway, and I thought I was flying, and I come back and I look at the times, and I was way off. Okay. So you know.
So let's talk about your first time you were competing.
First time competing, I qualified 31st out of 34 cars at King Speedway in Hanford.
But you finished.
Well, I qualified 31st, and then I finished one spot out of the transfer in the B main, so I didn't make the A main. But you know, it was a good time. We passed some cars, and we knew that, you know, we had a career and a future to go with.
Awesome. Well, you brought some video with you that I want to take a look at. What is this before we start it?
The first video we got up, this is an in-car view, rearward facing from Ventura Raceway. I think it was 2012, a heat race. I believe we won the heat race, so that was cool.
And how fast do you think you're running right now?
This track, you're running about 80, 85 miles an hour.
Okay,
sideways.
Billy, let's check it out. And we have the mic open, so go ahead and tell us what's going on.
So this is the back straightaway, down into turn 3, coming out of turn 4. Oops, sorry. Down the front straightaway, back into turn 1. Lap times around here is about 12 seconds. Wow. So this is leading the heat race. We went on to win it, so that was cool. You can see the cars; they slide sideways through the corners.
Is that because you're not braking?
No, I mean, you're using a little bit of brake getting in the corner, but mostly throttle. You control the car with the throttle. The rear tires are different sizes, so that helps the car turn around the corner.
And are these like a centrifugal transmission, like it's only one speed, or are you shifting?
There's actually no transmission. The crankshaft is bolted directly to the rear end through the driveline.
Oh.
So you're in gear and you're running, and the only way you can stop is to pull it out of gear.
Wow. How fun is that? If a guy like me wanted to get behind the wheel of one of these, is it possible?
Yeah, there's a few people running some schools. Corey Kruzman has a school in Ventura, and Jimmy Stills has a school up in Marysville. I do a few things for some of the young drivers coming up. When my race team, I had 3 cars running full time, so I do some things with some people to get them into this division. But midgets is not really an entry-level division. It's pretty competitive and pretty fast, and it'll wear on you pretty good. So usually a Focus or a micro division, 600cc motorcycle motor in a car. That's a good entry-level place to go.
But still, those things are moving, right?
Yeah, they got 120 horsepower, 700 pounds with drivers, so they move pretty good too.
And so if you had to give a young kid advice, would that be where they'd start?
Yeah, definitely. You know, start in something that's you know, your speed. So
I thought I read that Tony Martin started in go-karts and worked his way all the way up.
Just about everybody starts in go-karts that's made it that far. Right now, the kid to watch, Kyle Larson, he started in karts and went through the midget and sprint car ranks out here in California, and now he's in NASCAR, and you know, he won his first nationwide race a couple weeks ago, and you know, he's one to watch. He's in the top 15 in points as a rookie, so we're real excited to watch him. He's one of my favorites.
Cool. Is Fresno ever going to get a track?
I don't think Fresno's ever going to get a track. No, too many politics here. But you know, there's a lot of tracks within a short drive. So you got Chowchilla Raceway, Madera Speedway, Lemoore, Visalia Plaza Park. Bakersfield, King Speedway in Hanford. I mean, there's plenty to go do. And then they're opening the new indoor go-kart track there at the Sierra Vista Mall, the MB2 Raceway. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of us drivers locally are going to be out there hanging out.
Awesome. David Prickett, thanks for coming by, man. Very
you.
good to have you. Hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, local live music from the ukulele king of the San Joaquin. You won't want to miss it.